everyone, welcome back to A Life of KG. Today on the show I have Vix Meldrew. If you don't follow her on media yet, then definitely head over to her pages and see what she's all about. Content creation, something that I know a lot of us struggle with. So I really wanted to get her on the show to help us out a little bit more. If you love the show, then please make sure you share the love and tag me and Vix. And without further ado, here she is.
Hi, we are Pinkfishes. Wow, 5 years.
Oh my god, how time flies when you're having fun.
That's right, 5 years of being your go-to eyelash specialist.
Myself and the rest of the Pinkfishes team never thought our dream would grow to the business and brand you see today.
We are with you every step of the way, whether you're a beginner needing training,
A well-seasoned lash artist in need of supplies.
Or even a lash lover who wants to achieve a professional look at home.
We are proud to say we cater for all.
To say thank you for your support, we're offering 15% off of products and training.
So if you wanted to try our new Pro-Made lashes,
Our best-selling Pink Radical adhesive.
Or kickstart your lash career today with an accredited course,
just head over to pinkfishes.com and add code podcast15 at checkout to make the most of this discount today.
Hey Vix, welcome to the show. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on. So I'm going to start with my quick fire questions I do with all of our guests just to warm us up a little bit. So online learning or face-to-face learning?
Oh, that is a good one. Online for me, I just think I got so used to it in lockdown. I found it a really great way to connect with people, and it means I can wear my PJs.
Definitely. I think everyone does so much learning over lockdown as well, didn't they? That we've all become pros at online learning. Eat now or eaten in?
I'm going to say eating in. I live next door to a French chef, and every so often he'll bring food round for us or cook for us. So that's much better than going out.
Oh, it sounds it. A beach holiday or a pool holiday?
I'm going to say pool. I haven't actually been on either a beach or pool holiday for probably about 10 years. I always go to like city breaks, or Vegas is my favourite place to go. And I do love a pool.
I've never been Vegas yet. It's definitely on my list to do. Getting your nails done or your hair done?
Nails. I cannot be without getting my nails done. It's every 2 to 3 weeks, defo.
Amazing. So let's get started. Can you introduce yourself and let us know what you do?
Yes. So my name's Vix Meldrew. I used to be a primary school teacher, and I turned into a full-time content creator / influencer, working with brands on my blog and on Instagram. After a while, I had lots of people in my community come to me and say, Vix, how are you working with brands? Can you help me? How did you grow your blog? How did you do this? So I thought, I am a teacher at heart, and I started teaching people how to build their brands online, how to build their blogs, how to build their Instagram. And then over, lockdown 2020, I had more kind of small businesses coming to me from a variety of kind of industries and niches who all needed help with using Instagram more kind of like specifically to help build their businesses and help them get online. So I've been trying to, over the last couple of years, kind of blend my expertise in kind of content creation and building a community through content, as well as creating educational content online, whether that's like free educational content or courses, memberships, that kind of thing.
Amazing. So before lockdown then, was you still a teacher?
So I left teaching in 2018. So I kind of started my blog in 2014, 2015, and was doing blogging, content creation in secret from my teaching, kind of from my school and stuff. And then it got to a point, 2018, where I was essentially making what I was making as a teacher salary as a content creator and influencer. And I thought, well, here's my opportunity. I can leave teaching and have my own business now. So I left teaching in like April 2018 and been running my own business since then.
And it has been the best thing you've ever done, or?
Yeah, I do miss teaching. I miss the kids, I miss my school, I miss my friends that were teachers alongside me. All of that stuff I miss, but I absolutely don't miss the hours, the pay, the stress, the complaints, Ofsted, all of those kind of things that come with being a teacher in this kind of day and age. And I just love having my own business, being able to make my own hours. I have so much time freedom, which is my biggest thing. And I get to meet so many new people.
You mentioned time freedom. That's definitely my like favorite thing above everything, above money, above anything. Like if I've got time freedom, like that's definitely what I live for.
Yeah, 100%. Like this morning I went to go to a tennis lesson because I was just like, my husband got me tennis lessons for Christmas, and he booked it in, and I was like, I just love that I can do that on a random Thursday morning, I can go off and have a tennis lesson. Like that's fun for me.
Yeah, I love that. So content creation, obviously you was teaching, then obviously you found this passion for content creation. Where did that passion come from?
Yeah, so it's a funny story actually. So I sort of like 2014 is when I first started to discover like fashion blogs, and then found myself in the kind of blogging community on Twitter, found myself following lots of like UK bloggers who were also, Instagram wasn't really a thing that much. Maybe they had YouTube. It was either like a blog or YouTube at the time. And I just found myself just really enjoying reading blogs. And then it was one 6 weeks holiday that I had as a teacher. And I was like, I've got 6 weeks of doing nothing. Why don't I start a blog and just kind of see how it goes? And at the very first kind of iteration of my blog was very much like a lifestyle blog. So there was like, here's my favorite lipsticks, here's my, that kind of thing. That's how I kind of got into it. But then I had a few months of like a big life events happening. So the boyfriend that I had at the time cheated on me, and I had to like move out of the house we had together. A couple of months later, my mum passed away, and then it was going into like being the single girl for the first time in years. So I had all of these kind of like life events happening. I started blogging more about that, about dating, about being single, about heartbreak, about grief, like all of that, mental health, that kind of thing. And that's when things started to really take off. So my blog was getting like tons of views, and then I kind of branched out into Instagram, started working with brands, and then that's kind of how it started really.
Do you find then, like, obviously what you went through, and then you started, I guess, putting your feelings to paper and creating blogs, was that your turning point of business then, when it became a lot more of a personal brand rather than just kind of what your favorite things were?
Yeah, 100%. It was in that kind of the mode where I was almost like the dating blogger. I won like an award for a dating blog. I was interviewed on like BBC. I'd interviewed on radios. I was called in to be like, like a voice to talk about online dating in certain things. So that's when it started to take off a bit more. And then I started working with dating brands, like lifestyle brands, but also dating brands early on as well. So that's when, that was definitely that turning point.
Because everyone always says, don't they, about building a personal brand and putting yourself out there more, but it does just get people to connect with you so much more, doesn't it? Because they can relate.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of done two ends of this kind of spectrum, in that when I was blogging about like my mental health and my grief and my dating, I was like, no holds barred. Here is literally 100% of every tiny thought that comes into my brain. But as I kind of moved through things, and then I met my husband, and then I left teaching and I started building like the business, I kind of almost went the other way of like, oh my gosh, I want to be really private now. I'm like really happy. I just want to keep our lives like 100% to me, and like I just want to be really private. And then kind of saw that end of the scale, and I thought, actually no, there is a happy medium, and some people are happier sharing loads and loads and loads, and some people are happy sharing hardly anything. But there has to be some level of personal connection with people to grow that brand in that way.
That's really interesting actually, because I'd say I was very much the same. Like I was like a single mum at 10 weeks. I kind of like told my story online. It blew my business up, just like the story I was going through at the time. And I've been like kind of an open book as such when it comes to online media. And it helped me. It helped my business grow. Girls connected with me. It helped other mums that were single. And then I met my partner, and everything become a lot more private. And kind of your story changes, don't it? Because then, like, I don't know, you have another baby and you move out and stuff like that. And so now I'm finding my stories changing slightly, but everyone loves to know still what's going on and the happy side, the happy end that happened after the whole heartache. So now I find still telling a story is amazing and that helps. But then things like we moved and everyone's like, oh, show us a house, do a house tour. And I was like, no, that part's private. Like there's parts that are private and there's parts that aren't. And it is having that balance, definitely.
Yeah, and I also kind of had that feeling and thought of like, you know, I feel like as people, it's human nature to be really nosy and really voyeuristic and really, you know, I've kind of experienced people are like totally obsessed when everything's going to shit for you, but then as soon as things are going well for you, they're like, don't really like that as much. It's not really as interesting. And I kind of took that big step back and I was like, what is this all for? And now when I share things, it's like, I have the things that I'm really comfortable in sharing and things that I feel will actually be really helpful for me to share and can take a story from or can take a kind of point or learning point from by sharing it. But then there's other stuff that I'm like, you just only want to know because you're nosy and it's not for me, it's just that's not what I want to share, if that makes sense. So it's definitely finding your best balance. And I think everybody does struggle with this because I know so many business owners who exactly the same, like completely blew up their business because they shared every single iota of their life. And then the minute they wanted to kind of reclaim some of that privacy back or reclaim some of their life back, it just changed the relationship with their audience because their audience like, you gave us everything and now you give us nothing. So yeah, you have to find a really comfortable place for you that you can, you know, maintain, and also understand that if you have shared everything with people, they're always going to expect everything. So yeah, try and, I don't know, I think I've just maybe been a little bit burned by it, so I'm very like cautious, and I always tell people now, like, you sure you really want to share that? It's like, is that useful to share? Is that something that 2 to 5 years down the line you're going to look back on and think, oh, I wish I hadn't shared that? If not, crack on, but if so, be careful.
Yeah, that's really, really good advice, actually. And I'd say, especially because obviously this is like a business podcast, there's lots of business people listening to it, people in the hair and beauty space and small like business owners. And I think sometimes as well, when it comes to Instagram, it's can be like a fake persona of someone's life, especially if they're seen to be like a successful businesswoman or a successful salon owner or whatever that might be. So I think sometimes just sharing them raw truths of things don't always go perfect, like, or you do have down days as well, just for the audience to connect. Okay, she's normal as well, this happens to her. I don't know if you saw it on my story last night, I literally had a complete meltdown, not face to face, but it was about content creation as well, so you would relate. But I was getting in my state all day about content creation. My partner called me and I just burst out crying on the phone, and he was like, why are you crying? I was like, I'm pregnant right now. So I was like, hormones. And he was like, no, why are you crying? I was like, it's about my content and my pictures. And everyone thinks you have it all right and everything's perfect, but it was just nice to show, no, actually this is normal, this, I still feel like you guys. And the amount of messages that we got are just like, thank God you're like that too. Like it just, so it's sharing stuff that's relatable, but know why you're sharing it. I knew I was sharing that to help other people, and just being real. But yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I think obviously even us as we're content creators, but we're content consumers as well, even as small business owners. And there's almost sometimes that logic leaves our brains. Like we know when we're showing up on stories, we're not sharing 100% of our lives. But yet when we watch other people, we still assume we're seeing 100% of their lives. And I think there's this quote, and I always butcher it, I can never remember the exact thing, but it's like, this is it. It's better to show 100% of 10% of your life than 10% of 100% of your life. If that makes sense. So it's like, choose the bits of your life that you want to share, that people will relate to, people will connect with you with, and go all in on sharing that, and share it, you know, as much as you can to create that connection, versus you know, just you've got your whole life and you're just like sharing like all of it but in small bits, if that makes sense. Because and there's the other thing that you know, another quote that's I always kind of try to bear in mind is like, share from your scars, not from your wounds. So that's more around like, when you've been through something and you know, like you did yesterday, you're like, okay, actually people are going to really relate to this. Now I'm okay to share it, rather than like not really knowing why you're sharing it and just going like blah, 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 and then 2 days later really regretting it when you've actually had time to think about it. It's kind of sharing it from that place of, yeah, this is going to be helpful. This is going to connect people. This is going to be, a good thing to share.
They're really good quotes, actually, really good. Hopefully people are going to be writing them down.
At Buddha Beauty, we manufacture vegan and cruelty-free skincare, perfect for salon use and retail. Our products have been developed alongside our Manchester salons to create a results-driven skincare range. Our range of skincare is available in your own brand, which is the perfect way to offer your customers great home care products that keep bringing them back to your salon time and time again. Visit us at www.ownlabelskincare.com to request more information on how you can be selling your own products within 4 weeks.
So obviously, being in business, now it's kind of something that we have to do, being online, and there's lots of people that struggle with it. I think you either love it or hate it, whether that is sharing something or whether that's just literally creating content and just putting your Instagram profile up there. But in your eyes as a professional, why is it so important to get your content correct in a business?
I just think it kind of blends in with what your brand is. It says and does everything that you do and are about, and content is going to be the thing that brings in the right people to your community, but also repels the wrong people out. And if you get it really right, it's going to attract all of the really right people in. But if you get it really wrong, it can either attract the really wrong people in, or it can repel the right people, So I think it's one of those tricky things. I've got friends that have got small businesses who aren't really online, and they can completely rely on word of mouth. Like, they can be booked out for months in advance. They don't really have to put that much effort into social media because everything is kind of word of mouth. Like, we live in really like small villages, so it's kind of easier in that way. But it's almost like once that word of mouth network runs out, that's when they get a bit like, oh, okay, well, where am I going to get my next client from, or my next business from? And that's when they realize, I should have had a website, I should have had a social presence, because it's how people discover you. And it's not just how they discover you, but it's also how they get to know you and get to know what you do, what you're expert at, what your style is, what your vibe is, so that they can then choose to work with you.
Because I think also now people have kind of forgotten about websites and about blogging and just think, oh no, I've got my Instagram page. But obviously you started from blogging. Do you still blog now? Do you still think that's so important to do as a business?
So I think so when I used to blog, I didn't blog with any kind of strategy in terms of SEO and making my website really discoverable and making it so that it could get tons and tons of traffic. The way I used to blog and how I think the blogging community used to be was very much just like, let me pour my heart out, let me just share this is my passion, this is my experience, I just don't even care if there's spelling mistakes, I just want to get it out there. So I think that's very different to a small business having a website, whereas a small business website, you are going to be wanting to use it for people to search you, and they're going to type in nail artist Kent, and you want to be coming up on that first page of Google, and therefore blogging is a great way to build your SEO. But I also think, like, really realistically, and this is what I always have to share with people, like, okay, when I was a teacher, I was working 70 hours a week, and I still had the time to run my Twitter and my blog and my Instagram, because I didn't have anything else. My parents had passed away, didn't have a boyfriend, single, had all the time in the world. I could do those things. But lots of people who are starting small businesses now not only have to work with clients, they also have to run a household, be in a relationship, perhaps have children, perhaps have friendships, perhaps want to go to the gym, have therapy, and balance all of these like personal development things and create content. And I think it's really sometimes unrealistic to expect one small business owner who's trying to live life to also blog every week, post on Instagram every day, update LinkedIn every day, tweet every day, post to Facebook every day. Like, that's, we're kind of expecting solo business owners to do the job of companies that have a full social media team and accounting team and admin team and everything team. So when I speak with like solo business owners, I don't think, I mean, we know this from recently and how Instagram's had this huge kind of crush in reach and engagement, that it's not a good idea to have your business just on Instagram. But equally, you have to kind of balance what you have the capacity for. If you've got the capacity to write a blog post once a week, great, you're going to get your business out there. If you've got the capacity to do maybe like 3 Instagram posts a week, a blog post a week, and a Facebook update a week, great. But sometimes we put so much expectation on ourselves as solo business owners to be spinning every single plate ever, that then we end up just not doing anything because we're just like, it's too much.
It's so much pressure, isn't it? Like, it's a lot. It is a lot. Do you offer like to take over people's accounts and stuff, or do you just teach people what to do?
Yeah, no, I've never done any social media management myself. And it's just consulting or helping people with like the strategy side of things.
Would you recommend, because obviously like when I coach salon owners or business owners or whoever, it's always like, okay, we need to try and do this, this and this. But like you just said, it's impossible to do it as a solo business owner. And so obviously that's when outsourcing comes along. Obviously there's lots of companies now that, you know, you can outsource all your artwork or your posts and your stories and stuff like that. Would you recommend that or not?
I think if you've got the budget and you've got the money within your company to be able to outsource it, that's going to take a huge weight off of your plate. But I do also, like, I think sometimes people try and outsource too quickly almost. Like, you know, you want to build your business to the point where it's like profitable and you're paying yourself and it's paying your bills and you're really happy and comfy in it. And you can get by with a certain amount of content creation on your own. But if you do have the profit and you do have the space in your business to be able to do that, the benefit there is it's just like one of those big tasks taken off your plate.
Yeah, definitely. So you obviously work with clients like all day, every day. What would you say is like the biggest mistakes that you see your clients do or did before they started working with you when it comes to content?
So one of the big things, I was talking about this on Instagram the other day actually, is that as a small business, well, it's kind of tied together. As a small business, sometimes we make our content all about us when actually it should be about our customers. And I think the reason why I think this is a problem is that when all of us started our very first Instagram accounts, we started them as personal accounts to catch up with friends, catch up with family, post what we were having for lunch, post the holiday that we were going on. And we've almost never gotten out of that mindset. So when we had to switch and start using Instagram for our businesses, we still felt like, oh, I'll post my lunch, I'll post this and I'll post that. And yes, you can still do that to an extent on stories and things like that. But we never really made that mindset switch from this account is all about me to this is all about my customer. And that's a big mistake I often see, is that I'll go onto somebody's page and it will say that it's a business page, but all of the posts are personal, all of the stories are personal. Maybe I can't even find their company contact details on there because it's all about them. And you do have to have a bit of a switch in that, because then the next thing that happens is that as business owners, we take our social media results and engagement and metrics personally. They don't like me, I must be boring, my content must be rubbish, and we make it all about ourselves. So the big thing that I always teach is around really separating you from your Instagram. Have a personal Instagram where you want to catch up with friends and follow your favorite influencers and catch up with like Love Island gossip or whatever. But then have your business Instagram and really understand what the point of this Instagram is. Is it attention? Is it to get loads of likes and loads of followers and to post about what you had for lunch? Or is it to connect with somebody who could be a client of yours and help them learn how they can work with you? And then see metrics and see your engagement from that lens, rather than like, everyone must hate me,
That's really like so true actually, and even good for me to hear, because it's like sometimes you think, oh, people don't like it if there's only a few likes on the post. You go by likes, don't you, or how many people have engaged with it. And I know engagement and all that is all great, but people are still watching don't necessarily like.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like one of my I did a course earlier this year and I enrolled 81 people in it. And as I was going through, I sent out like a pre-survey that I'd say like more than 60 of them filled out. I was going through all of their Instagrams and I was like, some of you don't follow me, but you've bought my course. Some of you, I don't recognize your usernames, so I don't recognize you in my comments or my DMs. We're not people that you've never even chatted to me, never even liked a post or commented on posts. And it's such a huge wake-up call that a lot of the time, the people who are engaging with us aren't ever going to work with us. And vice versa, those people who are going to work with us aren't necessarily going to be engaging with us. Some people, buyers and clients are all different. They all have different like ways of working with us. Some people need to engage with us 100 times before they decide to work with us. Fine, we're going to create our content for that person. But there are also people out there who just don't need that. They just need to see, oh, okay, this is an incredible, nail artist. I'd love her to do my nails. I'm just going to book with her, and then you don't even follow them. Don't need to. You're just going to go meet them in 2 days to get your nails done by them anyway. So I think when it comes to engagement, as business owners, we look at and it's human nature. It's human nature. We want to be liked. We want to be accepted. We want to feel part of a community. We want to feel safe with as many people around us as possible. That's literally core human needs. So it's understandable that we become obsessed with likes and followers, but likes and followers does not equal business. Those metrics are your click-throughs, your link in bio clicks, the DMs, like inquiries that you get, the email button taps. They're the things that we should be looking at, but none of us are.
Yeah, it's so true. So true. And again, that happened to me just last night. I wanted to put something up about results, and I put something up about results, and then it didn't get half as much as engagement as what a post normally would. But then you had 2 DMs within the space of it going up, and they didn't like and they didn't comment on the actual post, but they were in my inbox. And you just thought, it's just really fascinating how it all works, isn't it? It's so fascinating.
I love it. I love getting into all of that like geeky stuff about it. Yeah.
It's a bit of a head mess as well.
I think again, it's like another distraction for small business owners, another thing to think about, another thing to worry about. And that's why, I think it's so important to have a super clear strategy of essentially where do you want people are on your Instagram, where do you want them to go? Is it to an inquiry form, a booking form, a checkout page? Where do you want those people from your Instagram to go? And then all of your content is taking them there. And that's all you really at the core need to worry about. And obviously there's more that comes into it. So you nurture them along the way and things like that. But all of this kind of gubbins that's on Instagram at any one time, it's just not needed.
No, definitely. Okay, so just to finish off the podcast, what tips do you have for our listeners to help them produce content that actually works?
So what I would do is I would try and always put yourself in the shoes of your client or customer, whoever you are. So say, for example, I'm always using nails as an example because I love my nail girl and we talk about social media all the time. So that's the example I always leave. As a nail technician who wants to attract new clients, what does a new client need to see on your Instagram? They need to see a couple of things. They need to see maybe your salon so they know what kind of vibe they're going into. Nobody wants to like have their nails done in like a skip outside somebody's house. So show them like the vibe and the environment that you set up. They want to see your actual designs of your nails so that they know like, oh, I want to get my nails like that. Oh, that's really good quality. She looks like she really knows her stuff. That's what they want to see. And then they want to see a bit of your personality. They don't want to go and sit in front of somebody for the next hour to get some gels put on who's boring, doesn't have a sense of humor, who they're not going to vibe with. So try and put yourself in that client's shoes. What would you as a client of yourself want to see from somebody, and make your content around that.
Yeah, that's really helpful. And I think that will help people just know what to put up more, isn't it? Like when you're sitting there and you think, what do I put up today? What would you want to see if you was in their shoes? It's brilliant. Definitely. So Vix, I'm going to let you go because I know how busy you are, but how can people connect with you? I'm guessing on Instagram.
Oh yeah, I mean, Vix Meldrew on Instagram. I'm loving TikTok at the moment, so I'm posting about how to use TikTok a little bit more for small businesses, and I'm Vix Meldrew over there as well. If you are somebody who's looking to launch an online course or launch a membership or anything like that, I also help people do that too. So that's over at courseconfident.co. Come find me.
Amazing. We'll put all the links in the show notes so you're easily found. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yay, lovely to chat to you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
£17,500. That's how much your business could be missing out on in tax breaks. New research tells us that most small British businesses don't know what tax breaks they're entitled to. Uniforms, training, even summer parties. Osome won't let you miss out on tax breaks your business is entitled to. Osome gives you the tools to keep track of what you're owed and an expert accountant to advise on the right tax breaks for your business. Think about what your business could do with an extra £17,500 each year. Go to osome.com/Spotify. That's osome.com/Spotify to get exclusive access to Osome software and 2 months free accounting. Get an awesome team to make running your business awesome.